What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, some key levels to really watch for, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up slightly in the pre-market, 0.87%. Very low volume though, so anticipate a lot of volatility. I don't know if we're going to have the same type of sell-off that did happen yesterday for whatever reason, but today we do now have some optimism in the broader market. So we had non-farm payroll and unemployment. Non-farm payroll came in at 22, forecast of 75, unemployment 4.3 versus 4.2. So not necessarily the best. No different than a lot of the other labor-linked data throughout the week. So this does equate to a small chance of a 50 basis point cut. And this is something I've really stated many times throughout this whole week, how this would play out. And so this is very good for growth stocks as well as Lucid and just EVs in general, because very sensitive to interest rates. So when it comes down to Lucid, potentially it might be a good buying opportunity today, only because, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, there is a lot of willing buyers and institutions roughly around that 5 to 550. Whether it kind of breaks below that, anyone's guess. Of course, shorts have been returning a lot lately, so maybe that might be where they decide to really double down and hit it hard just to break it below that 550 mark. What's very interesting though is on social media that you do see a lot of individuals calling for $10. So I'm not really sure where people are getting that $10 from. That does work out to be $1 pre-split, but still, I think no matter what though, Lucid is needs to really do something. For them to assume that institutions are just going to buy Lucid up is completely just a flawed mentality. And even when it comes down to this, I don't mean to hate on Lucid, but even though when it comes down to 𝗪𝗧𝗡𝗘𝗧, I'd like to know how much they actually spent on this, because this actually does seem very good and a little bit too good for what they're trying to do, if you guys get what I'm saying. So the whole purpose of this is to sell the Gravity. This kind of comes off as just a straight up movie, so there's no different than technically just putting this in like another commercial. I don't get it. And so maybe I'm just not into marketing, or I don't understand Mark's big plan, but it really, like, Lucid needs to ramp up. That's kind of the moral of the story, no matter what though. So let me know your general thoughts on this, and if you actually do see this as positive. Like I said, I think it's very well done, and that's something that clearly Mark spends a lot of time and attention on. Even with the big launch in New York, that was probably the best event that Lucid actually did. But is it getting utility? Is it driving demand higher? And is it equating to sales? That's what investors really need to ask themselves. Aside from that though, when it comes down to shorts, they did increase a small amount yesterday, nothing substantial. But one thing that is rather shocking is that prior to the whole reverse stock split, short interest was roughly around 30%, give or take. And so because of all of the returning that they've been doing that I've been sharing with you, now the short interest is 18.26%, and that works out to be 22.92 million shares overall are being shorted. So definitely for those of individuals that were really hoping that Lucid was going to squeeze, this isn't all that great. And interestingly enough, I don't believe now Lucid is the most heavily shorted EV. I always had that type of video, top 10 most heavily shorted EVs, and Lucid was always number one. But as of right now, I do believe that they are number 2, potentially even number 3. So things are interesting. Regardless though, this is some of the options. So from a bull standpoint, $17 is anticipated. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 15. So I don't really see that 15 being on the table, like I said, because of that a lot of buyers there, but as far as some support and resistance points with it right now at 1637, it is right now between this S1 and this S2. So things are recovering. So 1628 is going to be a strong support, followed by 1562. Flip side, 1669, and then 1734 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So I feel today Lucid is actually going to move higher. Whether that actually sticks is going to come down to Lucid. So I know under some other YouTube channels, I cover Chinese EVs. And one thing that they do is that they announced monthly deliveries. I get it, that's not usually what American companies tend to do. But then again, if you kind of think about it, Lucid never used to give even quarterly numbers. Like, people used to have to wait up until Lucid's actual earnings just to find out how many for production and delivery they did within the quarter. I feel Lucid, if they are really confident in what they are doing, just break the mold, do something new. And what I mean by that is just start doing monthly numbers, because it's very easy. For instance, going over here again, I posted this and I brought this up in yesterday's video, but it's very easy for their management just to say that this is completely false data. And that's, again, Lucid showing that they sold 70 Gravities in August, but you need to correct it. Say, hey, it's not 70, it's actually blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of one of those interesting types of scenarios. So even during the last earnings, Mark said, yeah, no, these numbers are completely false. But they didn't really give any context on exactly what the true numbers were. So I feel Lucid really needs to do themselves a favor and just be better. I know that sounds bad, but like, clearly Lucid being down just over the last 5 days, about 14.81%, it's clearly the market is not really valuing what they are trying to do. So they need to continuously change, and it is what it is. So let me know your thoughts on that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Like I said, this is just a quick pre-market video going over what's really affecting it, the broader sentiment, some key levels to really watch for, and everything else. If there is some substantial changes, then I'll do a PM video, or if there's news or whatever else. But as far as today, I do believe that there will be a little bit of a recovery with Lucid, but let's kind of wait and find out. So hopefully everyone has a good day. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.